What's up, everyone? This is SirRule 1986. I'm pretty sure that you know I stream over there on Twitch, Final Fantasy, and also New World. And I was probably planning on over here in the next couple of weeks, trying to divvy up my schedule to where I can actually go and play into other games, being some more JRPGs because I've got a nice collection building up again. That I want to kind of dip into, say like Final Fantasy 7, and then also some novel type deals, Clannad and also Doki Doki, which I've heard things about Doki Doki. So I'm kind of interested in seeing what the whole fuss is all about. But yeah, like I said, here, Crap Guide. He did it again. Joe Rat. Joe Cat. Did it again. Did another mail. Did another one. This one's strictly for factor of Crap Guide to Melee DPS. He has one for all DPS, and I'm still want to go watch that one too. But since this one's new, I actually want to try to dig into it and have a little fun and see what he says about it. So without further ado, let's go ahead.
Everyone always says you should be a team player, but honestly, I've always felt like the best way to help the team is by crushing whatever obstacle that's in the way with my heavily toned squat receipts. So that's it. No more playing for anybody else. I play for me, baby. Any reason the raid wipes from now on is no longer my fault. I only exist to make big numbers fly towards the screen and watch my skill bar light up like a Christmas tree at a rave party. And you bet your precious patoot the progress preventers will be promptly pounded because this potent projector of pain will be peppering those beasties until your pack is paved with enough resulting pellets that every peddler will pray to be pampered by a more palatable pacifist. Welcome to a crap guide to Final Fantasy.
That's Melee DPS.
Being a DPS is like being the king of capitalism, because the way you play, taking care of others, is for bitches. Pay no attention to anybody else's well-being unless it directly affects you.
That's true. Melee DPS doesn't want a handout. They with their positionals, you stay still, or else you get bitched at. That's coming from a tank person that, yeah.
And so long as you're alive and safe, you can act like anything bad that happens around you is probably not your fault. All that brain power instead will be put towards what really matters, your complicated as shit damage rotation. That's right, step aside tanks 1, 2, 3 and healers 2 damage buttons. These are where the big guys and gals play. Or at least that's what they like to tell themselves, since one of the only party utilities they have to worry about is pressing the faint button once in a blue moon. Their hotbar will more often have dozens of buttons all dedicated to big damage. The melee DPS is the most...
Hold on. Let's see this. Okay. Wanna watch me get bone for a second of uptime? Wanna watch me do it again? Featuring Dante from DMC. What the hell? What ESAD is completely rubbed off. LB3 is for expansions late. You get a gap closer and you get a gap. You can't see it over here, but yeah, that's what it says. Get a gap. What the...
most important person in the party, as you are the one on the front lines inspecting the bad guy's anus like it's where all the Hrothgar hats are hiding, while avoiding the enemy.
So that's where they are. Come on, Melee DPS. I'm calling you all out, Melee DPS. Come on. Gotta work that from behind. Come on, work out that from behind. Work that from behind and get those Hrothgar hats out. I mean, while you're at it too, try to find the Veers too, please.
Enemy sprays of hot poisonous gamer stank. Not only are you going to be up in their grill turning their cheeks into a ripe tomato while flip-flopping in and out of danger like you're a politician making pancakes, you're also going to make like an adult film star and learn positionals. Certain attacks in your damage rotation will require you to land them in specific areas around the enemy target, specifically the rear and the flank, in order to deal additional damage. How do you tell where those positions are? By the massive disembodied titty underneath the target. See this nipple? That's the front, where the tank will be sucking on the sweet milkies that are tank busters, which obviously means this conspicuous ticulus on the opposite end is the rear. What about the flank? That'll be on either side of the enemy. And if you're ever confused as to where each area begins and ends, a useful tip on how to tell is imagine there's a big X.
We're gonna stop here for a second. Yeah, talking about some Melee DPS that I get as a tank, they stand up there with me. Your positionals are back here. It's back here. Come on, guys, back here. Not in the front. The only one's supposed to be the front. I know you want to. I know you don't want to deal with the factor of licking a guy's anus, licking the boss's anus, the target. You still gotta do it.
dividing each of the quadrants. Or you could just press true north and pretend positionals don't exist like it's an embarrassing memory of that time you did the Gangnam Style at school, unironically. The only time it isn't the case is when the enemy has a full ring without an opening, in which case you won't have to worry about any of that guff and you can just sit there like an off-tank who's actually having fun. Otherwise, between hopping back and forth in these two spots and running around catching up to the boss whenever the tank feels like doing cardio, your little wall's legs are gonna get so much working out that they'll be thick as the milk from the teats of a whale made of molasses. Which is to say, expect to move a lot. But what if I'm not in the right place for a positional or the boss is far away? Just remember the old adage. Always
Be custard.
Even if you're not able to land your positionals or if the boss is too far away to make a melee attack, be sure to always be pressing your buttons no matter what. Unless you're a monk who has no ranged attack and you have to sit there thinking about how your job will inevitably be reworked yet again in the next patch. However, there is another secret epic game
Always true.
that allows you to maximize the deep.
Always true. Monk is usually always the one that's reworked. And sometimes it's a good rework, sometimes it's a bad rework. So, give them a ranged attack, please.
PSU output at the risk of yourself as well as potentially everybody else, but it's usually the healers. This technique is called greed. The funny thing about AoE markers in Final Fantasy XIV is that they only ever mark you for damage if you are standing in them the moment they go away. This means that if you're fast on your fingers, you can stand there DPSing the bad guy while soaking in their radioactive orange juice until the very last second where you backflip out just as the dropkick of doom skims your fuzzy anime hairs and you don't lose a second of uptime. As I said, however, this is a high risk. If your timing is off and you spend just a millisecond too long, you'll be covered in cheese puffs. You might even die, or in some cases you'll have to suffer a fate worse than having to read the entire 24-hour chat log of Limsa. Damage down.
So much
He's
down.
gonna take away your big damage numbers. Papa's here to make sure you don't greed too hard if you're not ready, okay? Okay. As the melee DPS, you also have first dibs on limit break against most bosses since yours deals the most damage, specifically when they're single. This is because when you hit the limit break button, you're not actually attacking them, just showing them pictures of a happy, healthy relationship, and nothing hurts more than emotional damage. Just ask Arianje.
Yeah.
But what are the individual jobs whom of which meleeeth said up-close slappers to thine adversaries? There are 5, and each one is a different flavor of anime and edge. Monk, for those of you who want to go fast, having one of the shortest global cooldowns in the game means you'll be dealing out punches like you're a pissed off caterer at a middle school sock hop. Instead of the traditional combos, each attack puts you in a specific stance. Bird, cat, and monkey. Each one combos into another attack that
Okay. That's actually true.
benefits from each respective stance. Your rotation will be all about swapping stances around more than a kid trying sick moves to impress their crush at a middle school sock hop. You also have perfect balance, which allows you to go freestyle and pick whichever stance you're feeling more at the moment without having to do any of the normal stance setup. If you repeat the same stance 3 times during your freestyle, you get a purple token on your stylish moves punch card. And if you do 3 different stances during the freestyle, you get a white one. Do a freestyle with 3 unique moves one more time while you have both a purple and white tokens on your punch card, and you get to turn it in to make your crush dripping wet with damage because for some reason you get to kick them in the face. The only problem is you are the only melee without a ranged attack to keep your uptime. And although you do have a dash that lets you zip around like Goku on a triple shot ristretto down blend macchiato, if ever you find yourself without a target to punch during combat, you can call timeout on your buffs so they stop moving while you have a little cry because your crush rejected you at the middle school sock hop. Dragoon is probably the most straightforward of the melee classes and the one most likely to have a tragic backstory. You've got a 5-button combo that swaps between hard slaps and sakura flowers and a handful of buffs that will turn anybody else in the party into your partner in dragon slaying. What kind of dragon slaying? That's up for you to decide, which you'll have plenty of time to do while you're suspended 20 moms in the air, dropping in like a scantily clad human airstrike who's got a date with Nidhogg at 5 and a party at the quicksand at 6. Yes, the Matanga in the room. Dragoon has several damage-dealing jumps necessary to unlocking special attacks in their rotation that will lock you into an animation, which means you're stuck and unable to move out of your location while the boss is just about ready to piss all over the floor right before you land. So be wary when using your jumps, lest you fling yourself right into a danger puddle and perpetuate the tired singular joke the 14 community has for
Lord Tanks!
the class. On the bright side, though, you do get the objectively best job mentor in the form of
Yeah.
Ninja is great for people who enjoy American football, because for every 10 seconds of excitement, there's a minute of fuck all. Your rotation is all about fitting every goddamn cooldown you can into a small window of time where you make the enemy take more damage, and on top of that, you also have the ability to live out every weeb's dream and do a bunch of hand gestures to cast magic attacks, and also drop down into a low position and run with your arms.
I main Ninja. I named Ninja as my off class back in Endwalker, Shadowbringers, and I enjoyed it. Still trying to figure out the new rotation and whatnot, but I've also switched over to playing as a caster red mage. So yeah, a lot of fun.
flopping behind you in the breeze, which Final Fantasy objectively proves makes you go faster. You got 3 hand symbols, and depending on what order you do, you will make a different kind of anime reference. For example, going Chi Tenjin Tenjin Chi Chijin unlocks the secret dark ending of Korean House and causes the enemy to be susceptible to bonus damage. But maybe you're facing a mob of enemies who are immune to A-rank powered life forms, so you'll instead have to go Tenjin Jin Chijin Chijin Ten Chijin Tenchi for 3 seasons of Sonic Underground, which will kick sand into their eyes with how fast you'll be running circles around the slowpokes. More or less, you'll have to do some studying up on what combos do what, but here's a secret cheat sheet. Only the final mudra in the sequence matters. Fuck, it's the skill floor police! Cheese it! Samurai.
The skill for police. Chiefy!
The job most likely to have a dick measuring contest with a black mage. I'd be careful though, their dad works at Square Enix. This weeb is the most selfish of the melees, as it provides no utility for the rest of the party and instead acts like the average soccer player, focusing on being the star of the show who gets all the attention, especially when it drops to the floor clutching its knee when somebody sneezes on them. Your attacks contribute to a kink bar, which allows you to shame the enemy in a variety of ways, as your katana is also a substitute for a horny bat. So you remember how the monk has a punch card? Well, so do you, except yours is your sword and the punches are stickers. You have 3 basic combos, each one giving you a slight buff and slapping a sticker onto your katana. And depending on how many stickers you have, you will get one of 3 different rewards when you turn in your sticker sheet. With 1 sticker, you'll apply a dot that'll last longer than it takes to clean your room. Don't lie to me, I know a majority of my audience has depression. 2 stickers will charge up an AoE around you, and 3 stickers will make... Each sticker attack also gives you an additional separate sticker, and once you have 3 of...
That was actually good. I will say that. But one of the things is, and I would like to know you guys' thoughts and everything. What do you think is the more weak class? Samurai or ninja? Because in my book, truthfully, my opinion on it, they're about the same because of the factor that you get a lot of samurais and stuff like that, and also samurai release within Stormblood, setting them for Japan and everything else, setting them in Japan and basically the Far East. So, and then Ninja you had come a lot earlier. That came back in AAR. So I mean, but though too, you got the Naruto run, then you got the Samurai with all the Samurai references. So I think that for the weak factor, they're about the same, you know, in honesty. But yeah, let's continue on.
those, you get to do an additional... And finally, the Reaper, the transfer student from Garlemald who got the rest to mauled at the fact that they think they're better than the rest of the melees. Which I mean they are, but don't let any Reaper hear you say that. It'll go to their heads. Being the darkest and edgiest of melees means that your job gauge is the Dark Souls HUD. Similar to the Samurai, you build up a bar that can be spent on big slaps. And those big slaps give you edgy boy points that can be spent on additional big slaps. Except this time they're coral blue number 5 semi-gloss lipstick. Once you've kissed enough boys to build up your fashion bar, you get to turn into a spooky ghost. You do the slice. You do the spooky slice. The spooky slice. Now your swings have some spice. You do the slice.
Oh god.
Your soul, that's the price.
I'm
You do
sorry.
the slice.
Monster
You
Mash.
do the spooky slice. And
Oh,
now you
the
know how to play
spooky
Melee.
slice.
Welcome. From the northern snow front of Ilsabard, the land was cold and the people scarred. They sought the void with a daring act. And
So that was, yeah, that was great. But yeah, this is me signing out. Great job again, Joe Cat. Love your videos. I look forward to do more reactions to your videos, more that you come out with them. Especially if related to Final Fantasy 14. Now I'll definitely do more reactions to that. But without further ado, please go check him out, like, subscribe to have the updates as well. So until next time, adios.